Power of Thought, inspired by Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." It's a statement so simple, yet so powerful that it can redefine how we live. In a world that constantly bombards us with noise, opinions, expectations, pressures, we often lose sight of one essential truth. We may not control the world, but we do control our thoughts. That's where our real power lies. Stoicism isn't about pretending that life is easy. It's about choosing how to respond when life gets hard. Every day, we're faced with circumstances beyond our control: traffic, people's opinions, bad news. But what we can always shape is how we think about those things. We can choose thoughts that empower us rather than paralyze us. We can focus on what we have rather than what we lack. That shift in mindset can completely change the emotional tone of our lives. Imagine this: two people go through the exact same situation, say, losing a job. One sees it as the end of the road, while the other sees it as a chance to start over, to grow, to realign with what truly matters. What made the difference? Not the event itself, but the quality of their thoughts around it. Marcus wasn't speaking from an ivory tower. As a Roman emperor, he dealt with war, betrayal, loss, and pressure daily. Yet he still returned to his journal to remind himself of one thing: control your thoughts, and you control your life. In today's world, filled with distractions and negativity, mastering your thoughts is revolutionary. It's not just a practice, it's a way of reclaiming your peace, your focus, and your joy. When you elevate your thinking, you elevate your experience of life. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, pause. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Then choose better. That's the Stoic way. That's your power. Discovering your Ikigai, your reason for being. Imagine waking up in the morning not out of obligation, but with a deep sense of purpose, like you're truly meant to be here, doing what you do. That's what the Japanese concept of Ikigai is all about. It's not just a feel-good idea, it's a powerful framework that asks, what do you love? What are you good at? What does the world need? And what can you be paid for? Where all four meet, that's your Ikigai, your unique reason for being. For many of us, modern life feels like a constant grind. We're chasing paychecks, checking off to-do lists, and battling burnout. But what if your life wasn't just about survival? What if each day had meaning, not in grand, flashy ways, but in quiet, steady alignment with your inner values and gifts? Marcus Aurelius believed we were all put on this earth to contribute something meaningful, to play our role with integrity and passion. He wasn't just a Stoic emperor enduring hardships, he was deeply reflective about purpose and how each of us has a duty to fulfill our potential. When we combine that Stoic belief in purposeful action with the clarity of Ikigai, we get a blueprint for a life that feels both centered and expansive. Finding your Ikigai doesn't happen overnight. It starts with reflection. Ask yourself, what excites me? What do I naturally do well? What impact do I want to have on others? What could I turn into a livelihood? The answers might not come all at once, and that's okay. The journey is just as important as the destination. As you explore, you'll begin to notice patterns. You'll feel more energized, more focused, more fulfilled. Even routine tasks gain new meaning because they're stepping stones towards something bigger. That's the quiet power of Ikigai. It transforms your days from mechanical to meaningful. So tomorrow morning, instead of hitting snooze, ask yourself, what am I waking up for? Let that question guide you, little by little, to a life of deeper satisfaction and true purpose. Your morning starts the night before. We often think the key to a great morning lies in what we do after we wake up, but the truth is, it begins the night before. How you spend your evening sets the tone for how you'll feel, think, and perform the next day. In a world full of late-night Netflix binges and endless scrolling through social media, We've normalized winding down in ways that actually make mornings harder. But what if you treated your evening as sacred preparation instead of leftover time? Think of your nighttime routine as your foundation. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, believed in living with purpose and intention, even in the smallest daily acts. So why not bring that philosophy into how you end your day? A consistent evening ritual, free from distractions, signals to your mind and body that it's time to slow down and recharge. It's not about harsh discipline or rigid schedules. It's about self-respect. You deserve to rest well and wake up ready. Try this: unplug from screens at least an hour before bed. Give your mind space to breathe without constant stimulation. Instead of doom scrolling, read something meaningful, reflect on the day, or journal your thoughts. Even a few minutes of deep breathing can lower your stress and ease your transition into sleep. These aren't just nice ideas, they're backed by neuroscience and practiced by some of the most mentally resilient people in history. And don't underestimate the power of simple planning. Jot down your top 3 priorities for the next day. It doesn't need to be a full to-do list, just a short, clear direction. This creates a sense of clarity that greets you first thing in the morning. Cutting through chaos before it starts. A great morning doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of mindful choices made the night before. When you start seeing your evenings as a key part of your success, everything begins to shift, your sleep improves, your focus sharpens, and you reclaim the quiet power of intentional living. Protecting the first hour, a digital-free morning. In today's hyper-connected world, the first thing most people do when they wake up is reach for their phone. Instantly. Their minds are flooded with texts, emails, headlines, and social media feeds. Before their feet even hit the floor, they're reacting, responding to the outside world's agenda instead of their own. But what if the first hour of your day belonged to you? The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, emphasized the power of focus and presence. He believed that your attention is one of your most valuable assets, and what you give it to shapes the quality of your life. That's why reclaiming your mornings, free from digital noise, is one of the most powerful choices you can make. This isn't about rejecting technology altogether. It's about choosing when and how to engage with it. The moment you check your phone first thing, you surrender your mental space to other people's thoughts, problems, and demands. Instead, imagine beginning your day with clarity, no buzzing notifications, no breaking news. No dopamine-chasing scrolls. Just you, your thoughts, and a moment of peace. A digital-free morning can look different for everyone. Maybe it's 10 minutes of silent reflection. A few pages of a meaningful book, journaling your intentions, or sipping coffee while watching the sunrise. Whatever it is, the key is presence. You're not reacting, you're setting the tone. This time isn't wasted. It's an investment in your mindset, energy, and resilience. When you start the day with intention instead of distraction, you create a mental buffer that helps you navigate the rest of your day with more calm and control. You become less reactive and more deliberate. This is the essence of Stoicism. Focusing on what's within your control, and your attention is always within your control. So tomorrow, before reaching for your phone, reach inward. Reclaim those first golden moments of the morning. Let them be quiet, focused, and yours. That 1 hour could change the entire direction of your day, and over time, the direction of your life. The discipline of consistency. One morning at a time. Waking up at the same time every morning may sound like a small act, but in practice, it's one of the most powerful habits you can build. It's a quiet declaration. I am in control of how I start my day. In a world where so much feels unpredictable, choosing consistency, especially in the morning, lays a stable foundation for everything else you hope to achieve. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius didn't just write about enduring hardship, he wrote about showing up. Again and again. He believed that living a life of purpose meant approaching each day with discipline, clarity, and integrity. That's what consistency is, it's honoring your commitment to yourself, even when it's hard. And let's be honest, it will be hard. In the beginning, the warmth of your bed will feel impossible to leave. That snooze button will whisper promises of just 5 more minutes. But this is where real growth happens. Every time you resist the urge to fall back into comfort, you build a little more strength, a little more self-respect. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not dramatic or loud. It's not about waking up one day and suddenly transforming your life. It's about showing up, day after day, with intention. When you get up at the same time, you send a message to your brain and body: we are reliable. We have a rhythm. We are serious about our goals. This rhythm creates momentum. Over time, it gets easier. Your mornings become more predictable, your energy stabilizes, and your mental clarity sharpens. You don't waste time negotiating with yourself, you just rise, ready to meet the day. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. And in those quiet moments, when the world is still, and you're up with purpose, you'll realize that small, steady actions often lead to the biggest internal shifts. That's the Stoic way, building a meaningful life not through grand gestures, but through deliberate, disciplined steps, one morning at a time. Practicing self-compassion, the Stoic art of being gentle with yourself. We often talk about discipline, consistency, and waking up early as if we're machines, but we're not. We're human. And being human means some mornings, despite our best intentions, we stumble. We oversleep. We skip the journal. We scroll mindlessly. That's life. The Stoics knew this. And they didn't expect perfection. What they advocated for was something far more powerful: self-compassion. Marcus Aurelius, even as an emperor, often reminded himself to be patient with his own shortcomings. He understood that beating himself up over mistakes didn't serve growth. Instead, he wrote to reflect, learn, and move forward with humility. That's a lesson we can all take to heart. It's easy to get caught in a cycle of guilt when we miss a habit or break a promise to ourselves. We think we've failed, so we give up altogether. But the Stoic response isn't shame, it's accountability with grace. When you slip, acknowledge it, forgive yourself, and recommit. That's real strength. The journey to creating a better morning, and a better life, isn't a straight line. There will be messy days. But progress doesn't mean perfection. It means you keep showing up, even after setbacks. In fact, the way you treat yourself after a failure often reveals more about your growth than how you behave when everything's going well. Self-compassion isn't softness. It's emotional intelligence. It's the quiet resilience that says, yes, today didn't go as planned. But tomorrow is another chance. And I'm still in this. When you practice this mindset, you're not making excuses, you're building endurance. You're learning to work with your nature, not against it. So the next time your alarm goes off and you hit snooze, or you miss your journaling session, don't spiral. Pause. Take a breath. Remind yourself, this is a long game. The Stoic path is not about flawless execution. It's about consistent effort, guided by purpose, and balanced with compassion. The power of accountability: you don't have to do it alone. Building better habits, like waking up early, starting a mindful morning routine, or living with more intention, can be challenging. Motivation fades. Discipline wavers. Life gets messy. That's why one of the most effective ways to stay on track is to find someone who's walking a similar path. An accountability partner. This isn't just about checking boxes or reporting progress, it's about support, encouragement, and shared growth. Having someone who knows your goals and cares about your success can make all the difference on the hard days. When your alarm goes off and you're tempted to stay under the covers, knowing someone is going to ask, "Did you get up today?" can be the nudge you need. But it's more than that. An accountability partner isn't there to judge, they're there to walk beside you. They remind you of your why when you forget. They help you course correct when you drift. And in return, you do the same for them. This is a mutual relationship rooted in honesty, encouragement, and a shared commitment to becoming better. The Stoics, though often thought of as solitary philosophers, believed in the importance of community. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all wrote about the value of learning from one another, of surrounding yourself with people who inspire growth and virtue. You don't have to walk the path alone. In fact, you probably shouldn't. Your accountability partner doesn't need to be perfect. They just need to care. Maybe it's a friend, a family member, a coworker, or someone from an online group. The key is trust, honesty, and regular check-ins. Share your goals. Be clear about what kind of support you need. And be open to feedback, reflection, and growth. Together, you'll go further than you could alone. Because when things get tough, and they will, you'll have someone in your corner. And sometimes, that's all it takes to keep moving forward. Memento mori. Remembering death to live fully. It might sound uncomfortable at first, but there's deep wisdom in reflecting on the fact that life is short. The Stoics called it memento mori, a reminder that we all must die. But this isn't about fear or darkness. It's about urgency, clarity, purpose. When you begin to live with the awareness that your time is limited, every day becomes more meaningful. Marcus Aurelius wrote often about mortality, not to dwell in despair, but to focus his mind on what truly mattered. He understood that knowing we won't live forever helps us prioritize the present. We stop wasting time on petty arguments, toxic distractions, and things that don't align with our values. Instead, we start living deliberately. Each morning becomes more than just another routine, it becomes a gift. A chance to do better. To speak kindly. To work with intention. To love more deeply. When you view your day through the lens of mortality, you realize how precious your energy, your attention, and your relationships really are. This perspective doesn't lead to sadness, it leads to gratitude. It encourages you to be more present in the moment, more generous with your time, and more courageous with your dreams. You start asking yourself, if this were my last day, would I be proud of how I'm spending it? And even if the answer isn't always yes, the question itself brings you back to what's real. Memento mori isn't about obsessing over death. It's about appreciating life while you have it. It's about letting go of trivial distractions and anchoring yourself in what counts. It shifts your focus from someday to right now. So tomorrow morning, as you open your eyes, take a quiet moment and remember, this day is not guaranteed. And because of that, it's incredibly valuable. Use it well. Live it fully. Speak truthfully. Love deeply. Not because you fear the end, but because you finally understand what it means to truly begin. Negative visualization, strengthening the mind through adversity. At first glance, it may seem strange, why would anyone intentionally imagine things going wrong? But the Stoics knew that mentally preparing for difficulty wasn't pessimism, it was power. This practice is called negative visualization. And it's one of the most practical tools for building emotional resilience and gratitude. Rather than pretending that life will always go smoothly, the Stoics encouraged us to occasionally picture setbacks, losing a job, facing illness, encountering delays, or simply having a tough conversation. The goal isn't to dwell in anxiety, but to become mentally equipped. By calmly imagining life's inevitable hardships, we're less likely to be blindsided when they actually arrive. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all used this method. They understood that by acknowledging the impermanence of things, our possessions, our routines, even the people around us, we become stronger and more grounded. We stop taking things for granted. And we learn to appreciate the present with deeper clarity. When you start your day with a short moment of negative visualization, something powerful happens. Your mindset shifts from entitlement to appreciation. You stop assuming that the people you love will always be there, that your comfort will always be guaranteed, that success is owed to you. Instead, you walk into the day aware and grateful. You also gain perspective. That delayed email response. Not a crisis. A rainy day. Just weather. You've already prepared for worse. So you carry yourself with more patience, more calm, and more confidence. You're not caught off guard, you're steady. That's the true beauty of this practice. And here's the paradox: by contemplating loss, we unlock joy. By imagining life without something, we realize how much it truly means to us. It deepens our connection to what we already have. So tomorrow morning, try this. Spend a few moments imagining how you'd handle a challenge. Then let it go. Step into the day not with fear, but with awareness. And walk forward with the quiet strength that comes from being prepared, not just for the best, but for whatever life brings. Ending the day with gratitude. A Stoic evening ritual. In a world that constantly pushes us to chase the next goal, fix the next problem, or reach the next milestone, we often forget to pause and reflect on what we already have. That's where the simple yet powerful practice of gratitude comes in, and the best time to do it is right before bed. The Stoics believed in perspective. They encouraged us to focus on what's within our control, to appreciate the present moment, and to resist the pull of endless dissatisfaction. Writing down a few things you're grateful for each night brings those teachings to life. It shifts your mindset from lack to abundance. From stress to serenity. This doesn't have to be complicated. You're not writing an essay. Just 3 things: a kind word from a friend, a good meal, the feeling of warm sheets at the end of a long day. These little reflections anchor you. They quiet the noise and help you end your day not with anxiety or restlessness, but with peace. Gratitude journaling also improves the quality of your sleep. By focusing on what went right instead of what went wrong, your mind softens, and your body prepares for rest. You close the day on a high note. And you wake up with a clearer head and a lighter heart. And here's something beautiful: gratitude doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how you act. You become more aware of the good around you. You start to notice small blessings you once overlooked. Your relationships deepen, your patience grows. And your perspective becomes more grounded and optimistic. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to reflect on his actions and thoughts at the end of each day. We can follow that wisdom, not just to evaluate, but to appreciate. To end each day with intention, just as we hope to begin it. So tonight, before you close your eyes, take a moment. Write down what went well. Celebrate the small wins. Feel the good in your life. Let gratitude be the final thought you carry into sleep, and the first habit that transforms your life from the inside out.